Hall's 4 stages in the communication process. We discusses Hall's 4 processes in the communication. At the end of this video you will be able to understand how these 4 stages are related, how the message is encoded, and how the audience decodes the message. The first stage he writes about is that of production. The second one is circulation. The third is the use or consumption stage. And the fourth stage is reproduction. Hall argues that these are relatively autonomous stages. Although they are not completely independent, but are autonomous to some extent. This means that the stages are related. There is some kind of bubble relationship between each of these stages. He identified a structure that dominates or connects these 4 stages. Hall's theory states that consumption determines production just as production determines consumption. What is being proposed here is an articulated model of communication in which meaning does not exist at any specific moment in the production, consumption, and reproduction circuits and cannot be guaranteed at any specific moment. Part of Hall's work argues that there is a complex structure of dominance that comes into play in the process of communication. Hall terms these stages as determinant moments in the process of communication. If the message is passed as it is, the audience may not receive it. There has to be interesting discourse in a form that will appeal to the audience. When the message is put into an interesting discourse or encoded, there are other features that come into play, such as technology, setting, clothing style, and use of characters. In the third stage, the viewer decodes the discursive form or message in their own way when they put the message into use or consume it. In relation to these 4 stages, Hall says it is not as transparent as it seems to be. The producer produces these meanings and encodes them in the form of a discourse, and the audience decodes them. Proctor, 2004:59. That is what is expected. However, most of the time it will not be as symmetrical, and sometimes it will be asymmetrical because of different factors that come into play when a message is being encoded into a discourse. The socio-economic, political, educational, or religious background of a receiver, for instance. Influenced by prior knowledge and technical capabilities, media producers encode messages into text. Similarly, the audience is impacted by their prior information and technical abilities in order to decode that text. The audience works hard and individually, and they can come up with a range of interpretations when they are decoding a text.